Boxing Virus, what's up, baby? What's going on? Hussein, what's up, man? What's good? What's good? Johan, Arlette, what's going on, man? Harlem's in the house. Greg, what's up, man? Yeah, they saying a lot of things right now, you know. It is what it is, man. Marcus, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. I've never gotten so much feedback on a video before on this channel. Jeff, what's up? Loke Dog, what's going on? Dwayne, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I never got that many likes, comments, emails, subscribers just based off one video. Okay. I had no idea that video was gonna have that much traffic. You know. Her rule El Ra, what's up? Yeah, I didn't know that video. People are still right now leaving comments and sending me emails. I got so many emails. I couldn't even respond to them all. You know, like 95% of the feedback was positive with that Wilder video. You know, I'm normally when I make a video about Wilder and it's not like a super pro video, normally I get a lot of backlash, you know, but even like there's a lot of Wilder fans in there. Even some of my subscribers that I know are big time Wilder fans that are like, yo, I 100% agree with you, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of pro Wilder fans that are not happy with what's going on this week, you know. And it's not even about the loss. It's not about the loss at all. It's not about the loss. It's more about, you know, a lot of things that was said after the fight. Make sure you guys hit that like button as soon as you join up, please. Thank you. Thank you. You know, what's up, Darnell, Fiat, everybody? What's going on, man? I hope everybody had a good Wednesday. I've been meaning to do this video on the Dazn PBC. I'm going to talk about PBC. If you guys vote, I don't know if you guys voted, but I think Dazn was in a huge lead when I did the poll. You know, I did a poll the other day, basically, you know, like, hey, what's your thoughts on this between the three? Now, this video, all right, before I get started, Alberto, what's going on? Let me see. No, I don't think Team Wilder is doing this. I don't think they're doing it. They don't need to do it. You know, the fight, the buzz from the fight, the fight itself was the buzz. They don't need to do anything to keep the buzz going. All right. This video here is going to be strictly about the subscription. I'm not comparing Dazn PBC and ESPN fighters fights. I'm not comparing any of that. All right, because that's too subjective. You know, I mean, I go with the fights itself. I go with, we don't know how the fights are going to play out. You know, certain fighters leave. They leave ESPN. They go over to Dazn. Some people leave PBC, goes over to Dazn, or vice versa. I'm not doing a video on that. All right. But I am doing a video. It's just talking about the subscriptions because I've been subscribed to all three. Well, I know PPC doesn't involve a subscription, but if you have Showtime, that does involve a subscription. I know PBC is mainly with Fox, but PBC is also with Showtime. Okay, so I made a little list and everything. I'll get that started. Just want to wait for a few more people to join up before I get started. But yeah, I made a little list on the pros and cons of each one. Nothing crazy. We're not going to be on here too long today. Just wanted to chat with you guys a little bit. Let's see what you guys. ESPN Plus on its own is way too limited. Added with no cable, so no regular ESPN, barely anything worthwhile. The Zone is a no-brainer. Yeah. I'll get right back. I'll get right into all of that. You know what? Let's get started. We're not gonna wait. We're gonna jump right into it. Just make sure you guys hit that like as soon as you join up. All right. So look, the Zone. Let's start with the Zone. All right. Now, I've been with the Zone pretty much since the very beginning. As soon as they came out, I pretty much subscribed to it. I don't remember what was the first couple of weeks. I don't know which was the first fight they had. I know with PBC early fights they had I think they had Keith Thurman. But they had Adrian Broner against Adrian Broner fought. I forgot who Adrian Broner fought. You guys remember who Adrian Broner fought first on the PBC? It was with John Molina. Okay. And I remember Keith Thurman fought Robert Guerrero, I believe, in the beginning of PBC. Now, I can't remember who was at the very beginning of the Zone. But I remember I did it. I started it with the $9.99 subscription, right? But I think I paid the full year. Now I've known that the price has gone up with the Zone since I first subscribed, because I think it started in 2018. It's been a couple years now. But I know some point last year, maybe early last year, the subscription fee went up from $9.99 to $19.99. So it went up to $20. It went up $10. All right. So I believe my $9.99 subscription price is going to be over, I think, within the next month or two. All right. So I've been with the Zone since the beginning. I do like to watch Bellator at times. So I do watch the MMA. Some certain fights are pretty decent. Most of the fights, unfortunately, well, they're getting a little better now, but there's a lot of old school UFC guys that are far past their prime, or they're retired and they're coming back just to collect a check. And they fight on the Zone. All right, but I've been on the Zone. I've been grandfathered into the Zone since the very beginning. And when the $9.99 subscription fee goes away, I'm probably just going to pay the $100 for the year fee, the annual fee, because it's better paying that than monthly. I'm not going to turn the Zone off, because at the very least, even if I'm bored, I'm still going to use the app, okay? So I wrote a few notes down. Let's talk about some of the pros. Obviously, the first thing that I put down is the price. All right. If you've been there from the beginning, you're paying $9.99. If you came later, you're paying $20. All right. But this is a thing. You can turn it off. You don't have to pay monthly for the Zone. You don't have to. So let's say there's a Canelo fight. Let's just say there's a Triple G fight, Anthony Joshua fight. You want to pay the $20 to watch the fight, whoever they fight, you pay the $20, then turn off the subscription fee. Okay? I seen a comment, MGTOW. I don't want to get into MGTOW. I'm not a part of MGTOW, but I'm fully aware of what MGTOW is. I know MGTOW. I know there's a whole YouTube community that's all about guys going their own way and stuff like that. I do watch, so I've seen some of those videos, but I'm not part of that stuff, But anyway, the price is obvious. I don't want to say it's the best, but as far as month to month and what you get, I think the price is great. We've heard rumors that the price was going to go up dramatically. I think there was rumors a few months back about it going up to $50 or something like that. I'm fine with $20. $20 is fine. And even if they are to charge more, I think eventually it'll probably go up some. I'll just turn it off. And then if there's a fight that I think is well and worth it to that I want to see, that I'm willing to pay for, then I'll pay the $20. But just think about it. You can pay $20 for a full month. It's like paying $20. We just paid $80 the other day to watch Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. if you pay the annual fee with Dazn, you basically, if you pay for two pay-per-views with PBC, it's worth more than having an annual fee of Dazn. And anyone that says, Dazn this, Dazn that, Dazn sucks, we're paying the subscriptions to see the fighters. So if you're a fan of the fighter, like if you're a fan of Devin Haney, you're going to support Devin Haney by watching Dazn if you choose to. But this is why this video is not. It's not about the roster of each network. This is all about the subscription. The actual service. All right. What I like about Dazn is the accessibility. Okay, when you go on there, when we're comparing the rest, Dazn is a strictly streaming app. It's a streaming service. It's not televised. All right, so it's available on websites. It's available on any. You could get it on your Apple TV. You could get it on your Fire Stick. You get it on your phone. You could get it on a website. I just think it's very easy to use anywhere you're at. You could be on a bus, you could be on a train, you could be doing whatever, and you could watch Dazn anytime you want. Okay. I think the presentation is cool. You normally open it up. Fights, weekend fights, upcoming fights is right there. You might get some interviews. You have. Now they've been adding a lot of old school classic fights, which is also good. Okay, so they've been pulling a lot of old HBO fights and stuff like that, and having that available to compete with ESPN, because ESPN does that. ESPN actually has a lot of old fights. Okay, so Dazn has they're starting to add a lot of old fights, because we know Dazn is only a couple years old, so they have other fights on there, which is pretty cool, especially when it comes to their fighters. All right, so that's one good thing about Dazn. I think it's easy to use. Like, you can open it up, especially when it comes to recent fights. It's really not that hard to find fights when it comes to recent fights. All right. Also, I just mentioned the library. The library, they have a lot of fights on there. They have other sports. If you're into soccer or football, from wherever you are, if you're into soccer, that's there. If you're into Bellator, MMA, they have a few other sports there. Not as deep, obviously, as ESPN, because ESPN is just the sports juggernaut. But as far as, having other options available, depending on what you're into, you can go and check out Dazn. Dazn has that available too. All right. One thing about Dazn is, this is in relation to boxing. Dazn has the World Boxing Super Series, which is one of my favorite parts of the sport, period. I think it's the best way. I think it's superior than having titles. If you win a tournament, I think that's more important, especially if you're at 140, or you're at cruiser, or you're at not light heavy. What do we have? Dazn, we had a World Boxing Super Series tournament at 118. Those divisions had some of the best fighters in each one of those divisions. So we were able to, see the tournament using Dazn, which was great. Even though I see one of you guys put Jay, what's up, Jay? World Boxing Series Super Series is going bankrupt or something. Yeah, there's been reports of that, and there's been issues with fighters that's been part of the the tournament. We have heard reports of Ivan Baranchak having problems with finances. We also heard that Regis Prograis, right? Originally, he pulled out of the fight against Josh Taylor because of finances. All right, so there are some finance issues. It does seem to look like there's not a lot of seats getting filled at these events. I don't know where they're having these fights. They have had some, events here in the U.S., but they're not doing too well financially. Even though the tournament is a great tournament to have, unfortunately, a lot of the fighters that are joining, they're not cash cow type of fighters. They're not really big fighters. So, unfortunately, with Dazn, financially, it hasn't been that great. Not Dazn, but with the World Boxing Super Series. I mean, all right. So yeah, Dazn overall, I like the presentation. I like it's very easy to access. You know, if you're just into just strictly streaming and you don't pay for cable anymore. A lot of people still pay for cable. I still do. I've been thinking about turning off my cable because I don't watch television that much. But there are times where I do watch television and I just want to have quick access to my TV and my cable. But there are many people now that do not have cable at all anymore, and they just rely strictly on streaming. And then as far as streaming, Dazn is probably the best when it comes to strictly streaming, okay, because it's a streaming app. It's not televised at all, right? So I said the other day when I was making one of my other live videos that I did, I'm waiting to see how it's going to work when Dazn has a cross network big time fight. What are they going to do about it? What are they going to do when Anthony Joshua has to fight Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, depending on whoever wins that third fight? Because let's be real, they're going to have the third fight. It's just too much money in the pot. All right. They're going to have the third fight. What are they going to do? How is that going to work if Dazn is a streaming application and ESPN and PBC or Showtime has streaming, but they're not a pure streaming network, or organization or whatever? How is that going to work? How do you going to share? Like we've seen recently this past weekend, and we've seen before in the past when Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fought, ESPN and Fox was able to work together, just like HBO and Showtime had to work together in order to give us these events. How is it going to work with Dazn when Dazn is strictly a streaming, application? How is that going to work when it comes to that? I'm thinking that one of them, either Fury's going to have to go to Dazn or Joshua's going to have to go to ESPN. I'm assuming something like that is going to happen, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm just let you guys know how I feel about it. All right, so let's talk about some of the cons with Dazn. These are some of the things that I don't like about Dazn. All right, and I've had major issues with some of these cons that I have with Dazn. The search tool, they need to work on that, because when you search certain fighters' names, sometimes nothing comes up. All right. Now, this is the thing with Dazn. They don't keep all of the fights there forever. Okay. Certain fights are just not there anymore. They're not available anymore. All right. Same with ESPN. ESPN will hold fights there on the website or the app. They'll keep it there for a little while, but certain fights, they're just not around that much. All right. So the problem I have with Dazn is, let's take Regis Prograis, for example. All right. We know he recently fought Josh Taylor, right? He fought him in the finals of the World Boxing Super Series. For some reason today, when I searched him, I wasn't able to find that fight. All right. The only fight that I saw on there was against damn. Who's the fighter that he fought? Let me search his name because I don't want to forget his name. Regis Prograis fought in the first round. Who did Regis Prograis fight in the first round of the World Boxing Super Series? Let me search. I want to look that up. All right. So he fought Terry Flanagan. So that fight was still available, right? But that's the thing too. Sometimes if you search a fighter's name, it won't come up. But if you search the event, the name of the event, that'll come up. And then you'll see the fight. So that's an issue, because I want to be able to just search a fighter's name and find them. I want to see everything that comes up. Sometimes it works with some of the more popular fighters. But if it's a World Boxing Super Series fight, you will have to search World Boxing Super Series or WBSS in order to find the fight. And that could be a little bit annoying. Plus, if you're searching for a fight that occurred on the undercard of another fight card, you would have to search whoever was the main fighter, the main event of that card. You would have to search that and then watch the card and navigate through the entire card in order to find that specific fight that's on that undercard. Okay, so they need to make it, you know, I doubt they're going to sit here and make a video for every single fight that's on the undercard. I'm not expecting them to do that, but there are certain fights where like co-main event level type of fights, you know, where they're really like championship level fights, and you will have to search and find who exactly were they on the undercard for. Okay, even if that's a co-main event. So that can be very, very, very frustrating with me. I know. I mean, like I said, I've had it since the very beginning. I've always had an issue with that. I mean, they made some improvements, but they just need to find a way to make everything a little bit, you know, navigate through the fights a little bit easier, you know. So that's one issue, you know. The three of them are not perfect, you know. PBC, Showtime, and ESPN. None of them are perfect, but this has been probably one of the most biggest issues I've had with DAZN. Also, with DAZN, I'm not a fan of the commentary. Out of the three juggernauts, is probably my least favorite. And when I say the three juggernauts, remember I'm linking both PBC and Showtime together, okay? Because even though PBC is mainly ran by Fox, Showtime is still a part of PBC. All right, so those are, or I'm going to compare both of them at that same time. But I am probably not really into the commentary on DAZN. Just not a big fan of the commentary. You know, I think Sergio Moro is okay. I think he's okay. You know, and some of the other commentators, they're all right. They're not bad. It's special. Okay, it's not. I'm not looking forward to listen to what they have to say about a fight. There's other guys that's on Showtime, PBC, ESPN that I just believe are better than the guys that's on DAZN, for at least right now. You know, they switch it up from time to time, but you know, I just think that I'm not a fan of the commentary. I'm at least they're probably my least favorite. All right, this has been a big issue with DAZN, and this is an issue that I've seen many people complain about with DAZN. Sometimes the quality of the video is really poor, depending on the location. A lot of yeah, I am going to be live streaming for the Mikey Garcia fight. I will be doing that. All right, so you can catch me on there. Should be available Saturday night. All right, so be on the lookout for that. All right, what was I saying? All right, so a lot of fights that are foreign, a lot of international fights, sometimes they come up a little blurry. Okay, even though it's in HD, I was thinking about it like recently when I saw the Demetrius Andre fight. It looked pretty good. It looked good. You know, it looked as good as any other fight. For certain fights, for some reason, it looks very blurry. It looks very fuzzy. It doesn't look bad, but compared to how we normally will watch fights in 2019, 2020, it's clear. You know, PBC, Showtime presentation is solid. It's on point. Sometimes the zone is a little bit blurry. You know, it's not the best quality of high definition that's available today. All right, so that could be an issue sometimes. I think they've improved, because I remember when DAZN first started, it seemed like a lot of the fights, the video quality was just off, you know. And I know it's not like my internet or anything. Like, I have I pay for the best internet because of the videos here that I do. But yeah, man, I think out of the video quality is the least with DAZN. You know, they definitely improved, but still not as good as, it's not consistently good. There's sometimes where it's a little off still. Okay. The cons, I brought up the increase in price. I know I was bringing up the price earlier. The increase in price, a lot of people are disappointed that it went from $10 to $20. I just say just pay for the $100 for a year and you're good. You know, I mean, it's a con because I guess if you're paying monthly, I guess it could be an issue. But it's probably going to go up at some point again, because I still don't know how they're able to throw this amount of money around and pay guys like Anthony Joshua Gennady Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez. These guys are getting millions and millions of dollars. I have no idea how they're able to pay these guys. You know, I mean, I know a lot of people that hate the zone when talking about how they're going broke and everything like that. I really don't know how they're paying these guys, man. These guys are doing really kind of big. There's rumors that they might be buying Top Rank, or they're interested in buying Top Rank. You know, and if there's any truth of that, I'm sure Big Al is going to be charging a lot of money to sell Top Rank, you know, to buy Top Rank. I mean, all right. So another con with the zone, not a big con, but it's not televised. It's strictly streaming. So some people are still not into the streaming lifestyle yet. It took a while for me to get there, to be honest. I was still a ride or die cable guy for a long time, you know, outside of Netflix, you know, and yeah, I subscribed to HBO and Showtime because it came with the movie package with the cable, you know, but some people are still into television. Some. So people just are not into the streaming game yet. You know, some people have the lowest cable you can get, you know, the cheapest you can get, and they're not really into this streaming and stuff. You know, most people have Wi-Fi. Yeah, they do have Wi-Fi, but most people have it for gaming and stuff like that. Not everybody's into streaming yet. So some people want to have the option to watch it on national television, and the zone doesn't provide that. The zone is strictly streaming. All right. So that's another, you know, flaw. It to some, you know, not to me, but to some people out there. All right. And my last con is really that certain fights are just getting removed. Some fights are just not there anymore. You can't find them. And certain ones are ones that are even not that old. And you're like, damn, I just saw this fight. It's only a few months old. Why did they remove it? Certain fights don't stick around. Certain fights have been there from the very beginning, and others, they're just not on the zone anymore. It is what it is. All right. So that's my review of the zone overall. I'll give you like, you know, my order of what I think is the best to worst at the end of this video. But I really like the zone. I'm going to stay subscribed to it. I think once my $9.99 subscription runs out, I'm probably going to just do the annual thing, you know, but I think it's going to run out soon. I'll pay the $100 and be good for the whole year. I think it's definitely worth it. There's a lot of pay-per-view quality fights that we get. That's, you know, $20 a subscription. That's not bad at all. You get the entire month of fights. You get Bellator if you're into MMA, you know, and any other sports that you're into that the zone provides, you get those too. All right. So overall, I am happy with the zone, and I will continue to support the zone for now. All right. So let's talk about the PBC and Showtime. All right. Now, two separate things, but they're all kind of one big family. At first, PBC, when it first came out, they had it on like 10 different networks. PBC was on everything, you know. Now it's mainly a Fox Sports thing, okay? But then you have certain fighters that are PBC fighters, but they are exclusive to Showtime. So you will never see them on Fox fighting. You'll see them on Showtime. You like Jamal Charlo or Tank Davis, you know. Certain fighters are strictly for Showtime, and others are fighting on Fox. All right, so the fighters that are strictly on Showtime, you will not see on the PBC website. You will not be able to watch the full fight for free. You'll be able to watch the highlights, but you will not be able to watch the full fight because you will have to subscribe to Showtime. Now, let's get Showtime out of the way. Showtime, HBO, old school networks, okay? Old school premium channels. They eventually attached the app where you can stream certain fights, watch certain fights, you know, fights that were televised they would be available for Showtime and HBO. HBO is gone now. Showtime's still around, but Showtime is mainly there for movies, films, documentaries, TV series, stuff like that. It's not for boxing. It's not for sports. Boxing is just a part of Showtime. All right, you get boxing. The thing is, the Showtime app, Showtime Anytime, all right, they don't have much there with boxing. You can tell that boxing is not a priority to Showtime. All right, boxing, they'll have a few documentaries there, a few specials every now and then when there's a big fight coming up. They have some stuff there, but it's not a priority. Fights don't stay available there for long, and there's not that many fights on Showtime anymore throughout the year. So if a fight is coming up with Tank Davis, they might put some of his past fights up there. You know, if a fight's coming up with Jamal Charlo or whoever else is subscribed to, or subscribed, but signed exclusive to Showtime PBC, their fights will be available. All right. But for the most part, fights that we know on Showtime in the past, it's just not like DAZN. It's not like ESPN. It's not like the PBC on Fox, where you can just go and look for the fight and watch the fight. Certain fights are there, very, very few. It's just not made for boxing. Showtime is just not made for boxing like that. All right. So Sin City, let me get to that point. Let me get to that point. I'm going to speak about PBC and pay-per-views. I'm just now talking about PBC right now. Just started with PBC, so just give me a moment. So Showtime is not, boxing is not the priority. Now PBC has a website and they have a YouTube channel, which they are active with keeping it updated. The website from 2015, every year they have every single fight that was on PBC on network television. Every single fight, except the ones that were pay-per-view and the ones where the fighters are exclusive to Showtime. So you can navigate each year. Like you could go to 2015, you can go to Taka, what's up, man? You can go to 2015, you go to 2016, or anywhere all the way up until now. You can look and navigate whatever fight you want. You can watch a full fight. It's in great quality. It's very easy to navigate through the website. Very, very, very easy. It's a boxing website. So very easy to use. There's a search bar where you can search the name. Articles will come up, fights will come up. It's very easy to navigate. All right. Most people don't go on websites like that, but that's the issue with the PBC. They don't have an app. So the mobile site is very easy to use, very easy to access. Just go on PBC or whatever, but they don't have an actual app. Most people are probably using YouTube to watch their fights. They have a YouTube channel, which they keep updated. So if you're subscribed to the PBC, normally they'll post a full fight right away, maybe the following day or two. They'll post a full fight maybe a few days later. But they have a YouTube channel. They don't have an actual app, okay? They don't have like software. So if you have an Apple TV, there's nothing that's PBC. Even though Fox has apps, they don't have something separated for boxing matches where you can just view them. You have to go to the website. You have to go to the mobile website. It's easy to get to, but if you're into apps, you can't just use the app. The apps are just usually easier to go. You can sign in, keep yourself signed in, and just, you can use cookies going, it's just different. All right. So that's one thing. Another thing is PBC has, it's actually a con. PBC has the most pay-per-views. All right. They have the most pay-per-views. You can literally, in 2 fights, you can literally pay much more than a full year of DAZN and ESPN. You know, um, that's a problem for most. In fact, one pay-per-view on PBC is more than a full year of ESPN Plus, which is ridiculous. And this is why I'm not a big fan of pay-per-views at this point, because of what the other options are available, you know. So I have an issue with that, you know. It's not a great way to move forward. You know, there was a time where I thought pay-per-view was going to die, especially when PBC first started. I thought PBC was going to get rid of the pay-per-views. But pay-per-views are not going anywhere. And at the end of the day, when you have fights like big fights, like with big names like we had this past weekend, and it does well, you're not going to really get rid of pay-per-views. Even when they're a failure, like maybe Amir Khan and Terrence Crawford, the extra money you make, you're going to promote the fight anyway. They're going to still have they're still going to have the pay-per-views, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right. So that's one problem with the PBC. ESPN has them too, but PBC has many of them. There was a point last year where we were just getting them like rapidly. We had Manny Pacquiao, Adrian Broner. We had Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia. Errol Spence, Sean Porter. Manny Pacquiao against Keith Thurman. We was just getting them like this, like real quick. I mean, we just had, before the new year, we just had Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder in the first fight. So it was just, we were getting so many PBC related pay-per-views, you know, and these things are like $80. You're hitting you over the head with $80. I could get so much more with the Zone or ESPN, you know. But yeah, PBC has a great library. Like I said, they have pretty much all of their fights. What else I put here? Very easy to navigate. If you are a part of Showtime, you get everything Showtime has to offer. If you're not into, you know, if you just want to watch a series of movies and stuff like that, you get all of that. And PBC outside of Showtime and the pay-per-views is free. There is no monthly subscription. So if you're not paying for the pay-per-views, you're not paying for Showtime. It's pretty much free. You can watch these fights all the time. So even though you have the pay-per-views there, PBC is still a plus because there is no subscription. You know, and from what I've seen, I've always been a fan of the commentary for the most part. I think they're better now because they're pretty much sticking to the team they have. I like Showtime team. I love Steve Farhood and Paulie Malignaggi. I love, especially Paulie. I like those guys. If you're looking at the Fox commentary, you have Lennox Lewis there. I think they're okay. You know, I take that over the Zone as far as commentary. All right. But, you know, the main cons of PBC and Showtime is that two of them, there's two different networks there. You have Fox, you have Showtime. Certain fights are exclusive to Showtime only, so you can't get those, you can't see their fights on the PBC website. There is no mobile app, all right? So it's not as simple to get on like the Zone is. The Zone is a pure streaming app. But it is televised and it is free. The pay-per-views is definitely a con. Definitely a con because they have the most pay-per-views. But outside of that, the video quality is good. There's really not that many complaints with PBC as far as the service is concerned. I'm not talking about the fighters, I'm talking about the service itself. All right, so no problems there. All right, so let's talk about ESPN. ESPN is the sports juggernaut. It's a good thing and a bad thing for boxing. I'm glad that ESPN is now putting a lot of focus on boxing because outside of Friday night fights, years ago, ESPN wasn't really doing much for boxing. It really wasn't. You know, it wasn't up until leading up to the Floyd Manny Pacquiao fight they really wasn't doing that much for boxing. You know, I remember every day I used to watch First Take in the morning, and they will only bring up boxing if it was related to Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, you know, and maybe Canelo Alvarez. They never ever brought up boxing like that. You know, they were very, very weak when it came to boxing. But Friday Night Fights was fun. Yeah, you guys said Deuce, I missed it too. It was great. But ESPN, what I like about it is the subscription is a little less than the Zone. I don't believe that you're getting as much as you get on the Zone, but ESPN has a lower subscription fee of $5. Now, ESPN Plus, which is what you're paying for, remember, you're getting all sports with ESPN. Everything that they have to offer, you're getting with ESPN, which is much more than what the Zone has to offer, or Fox or Showtime or anything else. ESPN, you're getting everything, all right, which is cool. You know, I sign in sometimes. I'm watching the game. I'm not home. I sign in and I want to watch the game, the basketball game. I mean, normally it's on a regular ESPN app or website, but sometimes certain things are exclusive only to ESPN Plus. Plus, you're getting a lot of old school boxing matches, which the Zone offers now too. But ESPN makes a lot of good documentaries, which PBC is not really offering like that. Showtime is not really offering like that. The Zone is not really offering like that. ESPN has documentaries that are very good. They have their 30 for 30 series. I know this involves all sports, but you have some good boxing ones there too. So you do get that. All right. Obviously, you have access to the fights. I do like the team over at ESPN, Andre Ward, Tim Bradley. Yeah, sometimes they get on my nerves, but I still think their commentary is and their team is better than the Zone as far as the commentary. All right. And it's available everywhere, unlike PBC, where it's strictly website related, you know, or YouTube related. You have everything the Zone has, which you have an actual app, and you can also go online. You could go on your Apple TV, your Fire Stick, you know, your video game stuff, your television. You could do whatever to stream it, you know. So you have access to go on the website, streaming it, whatever way you want it. ESPN has it to watch. All right. And they have full cards. They actually show full cards. That is one thing that I failed to mention with PBC. PBC, Showtime do not show full cards. Okay, they are showing you the actual fight. So if you want to actually watch a full card, you would, you know, most of the time. Well, one thing good with PBC though is that they do have a lot of undercards. If you just search the name, a lot of the undercards that were actually televised, you can search. Not every single undercard. Whereas ESPN and the Zone show the whole card, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about the cons of ESPN. It's a lot of cons. ESPN is just boxing is not a priority to ESPN. They're doing better. They're doing better, but there's really no way to navigate for boxing like the Zone and the PBC website. I mean, they don't keep fights there for a long time. There's no search. There's no boxing search. There's a general search that you can use. I use ESPN website a lot for basketball. So when I go to the basketball section of ESPN, I can just look in the column and find whatever I'm looking for, whether it's a team that I'm looking for, schedules, stuff like that. Boxing, I will give them credit. They'll show you the schedules of all the boxing, which is great. They'll show you the champions, stuff like that. But when you are looking for a fight, it's probably the worst out of them all, okay? Because they don't have the fighters' names listed and all of their fights under that. There's no kind of real way to navigate. You have to really dig deep and find anything that you're looking for And that's even if it's still available. Okay, boxing is just not a priority. I think they do a better job with the UFC on the ESPN, who's part of them. Top Rank is mainly just Top Rank when it comes to ESPN, and it's just not that good. All right, it's not good. It's probably the worst actual service out of the three, in my opinion. I just think I do like the commentary that they do. I do like the roster that they have, and I do like the fact that they give you a lot of information outside of the actual fights. Like I said, about schedules, the pound for pound list, the rankings, all that stuff is cool. But when it comes to actual fighting and looking and streaming it and looking for other fights, older fights, it's very, very hard to find older fights, especially if they're not named Terrence Crawford or Vasyl Lomachenko. Okay. I think they do a decent job showing their fights, but all of the other fighters that are with Top Rank, they don't keep their fights there really long to view. You don't have access to them for a very long time. And I think that's kind of the issue, especially if you're paying a subscription. You want to have access to these things. I feel like as a subscriber, I'm basically paying to watch the fight live. I'm not really paying to watch the fight later. Okay. They show you the schedule of the upcoming fights and everything, but it's more like you got to catch it right away, because if you try to find a fight, if you're looking for a fight that already occurred, you're going to have a hard time finding it compared to the other two. So ESPN, without a doubt, is my least favorite out of the three. All right. But if you want to look for all sports related stuff, the package, it being $5, that's the best package if you're just looking for all sports. But if you're just wanting boxing, it's my least favorite. I'd rather go on the PBC website or the PBC YouTube channel to look for their fights. I'd rather go on Dazn, because Dazn is just a massive boxing, streaming service. But ESPN seems like boxing is just pushed off to the side type of thing. If you're just strictly paying for the boxing service. All right. And not only that, but as far as navigation, if you use the app, the boxing fights and the news and everything is mixed up and jumbled together. It seems like they're very lazy with the service, So overall, look, I was trying to think which one I like better between Dazn and PBC. There are definitely cons and pros for both between the two. I think Dazn is the easiest to access. I take the subscription fee and the prices over PBC, and even though PBC is free, the majority of the time, the pay-per-views are just too high, but if you're not paying for the pay-per-views, if you're not paying for those, if you exclude those and you're not paying for the Showtime subscription, PBC actually has a better price, because you don't have to pay. You can just go to their website and look up whatever fight you want to look up. All right. And plus, there's always a highlight video as far as too. PBC don't have full cards though. All right. They don't show you the full card. So if you want to see the undercard like I do, like I know whenever I go to a fight, if the doors open at 7, I usually get there like around 7:15, 7:30. Like I like watching the pre-fights. When there's no one in the arena, there's no noise, there's no one in the building. I like that. So I like to watch the undercard sometimes. So Dazn definitely got that. I like how Dazn has older fights. They have Bellator. They have other sports on the thing. PBC doesn't have any older fights. If it's not PBC, they don't have it. Okay, if it's not PBC related, even if it's an older fight of a PBC fighter, anything that Keith Thurman did before PBC was created, they're not showing you those fights. All right, because those fights didn't occur on the PBC. And we all know that Showtime doesn't have much there. It's just not strong when it comes to boxing these days. They were back in the day, them and HBO when they had their day. they were strong points, but now they're kind of weak. All right. But I see your comment, about PBC having the best stable. I didn't make the video about that. It's more about me, and what I have access to and what I actually use. I didn't do the stable thing because that's very, very subjective. They're all three have heavyweights. I mean, as far as big time names, fighters that I enjoy watching. ESPN has Bud. ESPN has a lot of light heavyweights that I like. They have Lomachenko. They have the thing with ESPN. They show a lot of fights that BT Sports show. Or a lot of UK fights that they have to pay for. We can get on ESPN for free. Dazn has a lot of Sky Sports fights that they have to pay pay-per-view for that we get for free on Dazn, or it's part of, not free, but part of the subscription. I mean, all right. But PBC does have a big stable, but it's subjective where you want to go with that. They have a lot of welterweights, but they don't have a lot of middleweights. Dazn has a lot of middleweights. You know what I'm saying? So Dazn actually picked up a lot of guys that were HBO, and so did ESPN. And a lot of guys leave, bounce around. We know recently Mikey Garcia did his deal with the PBC, had his fights there, had his fights on Showtime, and now he's fighting with Dazn. Some guys are going to bounce around. We know Triple G was with HBO. He went to Dazn. Certain fighters switched over. As far as stable is concerned, it really subjective. I like specific fighters. I'm not a fan of just networks and organizations. I don't really care for the organizations. I care about which fighters who has, and each one has fighters I like. Joshua's with Dazn. Triple G is with Dazn. Canelo's with Dazn. Dazn is picking up, and they're picking up fast. All right. So, anyway, as far as what's the best, I think between Dazn and PBC is kind of tied, because there's too many things that I like about PBC over Dazn, and there's so many things that Dazn I like over PBC. It's tied between those two, but for sure, I definitely can't. I don't want to say I can't stand ESPN, but I dislike ESPN the most. All right. ESPN just has the least to offer. It's just not comparable. And it's mainly just Top Rank, which is just not enough. They just don't have enough for me. All right. But I'm cool with paying $5 a month. Like, that's cool. Like, $5 is a breakfast sandwich and a coffee. Here, a big egg and cheese sandwich and a coffee for breakfast. I have to pay that $5 a month. Like, I'm good with that. I will never complain about that. All right. And they don't have that many pay-per-views, not nearly as much as PBC does. All right. So, yeah. So I think the day that Dazn starts having pay-per-views, then that will make it a different conversation. We'll have a different conversation here. All right. But PBC, Dazn, it's hard to really call which one I like better between the two. We're not talking the fighters, but I'm going to stay subscribed to all of them. And that's it. All right. So let's talk. Let's chat with you guys. I want to chat a little bit. See, I didn't read a lot of the comments you guys, but Dan, I just want to read a few of the comments you guys said. Dude said earlier he's boycotting pay-per-view. I mean, I've been on and off with the boycott, and certain fights I have paid for and supported because they were good fights. If they're really, really good fights, I will pay for it. I will pay for it if they're really, really good fights. But there was a lot of fights that I thought the pay-per-views just weren't necessary. I actually didn't think the first Wilder Fury was worth buying. I didn't buy. I went out to a bar and watched it and didn't pay money out of pocket to watch it. All right. Because at that time, Fury just wasn't sure about him. He was just getting everything together. I thought it was kind of a cherry pick at the time. All right. What other pay-per-views I didn't pay for? Spence against Mikey Garcia just wasn't a pay-per-view worthy type of fight. I thought that was a mismatch, and we saw in the fight that was a mismatch. All right. ESPN, yeah, Dazn and PBC Top Rank Step up. I think all of them need to step up in certain areas, especially the zone with their searching. Like I said earlier in this video, you know, I mean, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Certain ones got to step it up in different areas. None of them are perfect, you know, but the zone is moving up quickly for the amount of time, the small amount of time they've been around. They've done a lot of big things. They've had a lot of big fights, good cards on the zone without having to pay too much. Yeah, let's jab that like button, man. Appreciate it. Hit that like button. I feel bad for Wilder, by the way. His pride is clearly shot in denial mode. I really don't feel bad for him because he's gonna make a lot more money in the third fight. You know, with these rumors that's going around, the money that's being thrown around, you know, maybe it, you know, rumors of, you know, hundreds of millions in Saudi Arabia. He's gonna get paid, you know. So I'm not really worried about Wilder. I think he'll be all right. I think with Wilder just needs to recover. He needs to recover and just work on recovering, you know, getting healthy and preparing himself. Even if he loses the third fight, which is what I think he will. I think he will lose the third fight. At least prepare for that fight better. Don't wear any heavy costumes. You know, get some road work in. You know, work on a few things before going into that third fight. All right. So I'm not really. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. And you know what? He does a lot of talking. He did a lot of talking in the last couple of years. He said a lot of things. I'm not gonna feel bad for him. I mean, it is what it is. You lose. There's nothing to feel bad about. You lost, man. You lost to a really, really good heavyweight. You lost to a really skillful fighter, a guy that was bigger than you, longer than you. It is what it is. You know, you came a long way. You got over 40 knockouts. You went undefeated for a very long time. You made your money. You provided for your daughter. You know, your daughter was going through a lot. And I see docs on, you know, all that stuff. Listen, he's doing well. He's doing just fine. You know, I don't like the way he's taking this loss, but he's doing just fine. There's nothing to feel bad about. You know? What's up, Alex? What's going on? Yeah, he got beat up bad. He did get beat up bad, but that's why the towel should have been thrown. You know? That's why it should have been thrown. Should have been thrown. Definitely should have been thrown. You know? I see the comment up there about Dana White might buy Top Rank. Yeah, I mean, if Dana does it, he does it. You know, I mean, to be honest, man, as much as I hate how the politics are now with boxing, just having another person, another big time promoter or organization involved with the sport is just going to make things even more separated and stuff. You know, I don't think another juggernaut in boxing is going to help the sport. You know, I just don't believe that. You know, Rock Nation tried. They tried to come in, you know. They threw a lot of money at these fighters. Adrian Broner, Charlos, Andrade, Thurman. It didn't work. You know, they tried to do what Dazn is doing now, throwing a lot of money around. It didn't work for them, you know, probably because of history with Hal Heyman, you know, Jay-Z and stuff. Didn't work. For how many more promoters do we really need? You know, how many more? We have 3 major ones right now, and it's a lot of fights that we're not even getting because of that. So we really don't need that much more, in my opinion. Yeah, Wilder will be back. He was a champion for years, man. He had 9, 10 title defenses. He'll be all right, man. You guys see my video yesterday, man. Yeah, I went off. I try not to make videos like that. Oh, let's talk because it's crazy. I try not to be like that. I don't really rant too much. But when I do, you guys love it. It's crazy, man. I don't even make videos like that too much, but when I do, when I'm fired up, I make these kind of videos, and then I get the most traffic on my channel whenever that happens, you know? It's hilarious, man. People love when I'm fired up, man. You guys love it. Uh, but I'm not gonna consistently be like that. I'm not gonna give you that kind of energy every time I do a video. I just can't. That's just not my personality. Like I'm a really chill guy, you know. Um, Fired up videos. It's gonna come every once in a while. Normally it involves Deontay Wilder and heavyweight division in some way. But yeah, man, I was fired up, man. I couldn't take it no more, man. I was sitting here watching it, and it was people that was doing videos way before me. And I just I'm just looking at them, and I'm looking, and I'm like, when I saw it was a couple of people that left comments pretty much saying that hey, how do you know this is true? Because you didn't hear it out of Wilder's mouth. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to hear it out of Wilder's mouth right now because he's recovering. You know, I mean, these journalists can still do private interviews with you, you know, which is what happens all the time. All week, every single week, we get reports of what fighters say leading up to a fight, stuff like that. And they put it out there on the news. But once I started seeing that it was not only on like Boxing Scene or Boxing News 24, but it was on ESPN, you know, Dan Rayfield, Yahoo, Fox posted it. Like, these guys are not going to risk their careers making a whole statement of what Wilder said. They're not going to jeopardize their whole career by lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get reports. Whenever there's a report of Joshua saying that he's not interested in Wilder, they don't hear it out of Joshua's mouth. They just react to it. So why are people saying things like, hey, Wave, you didn't hear it out of Deontay Wilder's mouth? Well, before he even left the ring, he started to say that before he even left the ring. A lot of the few things he said, need to say that about the costume, but as far as the towel being thrown and stuff like that, a lot of things he said before he left that ring that night. So this is what he's reporting, and he hasn't denied any of it. So what's the issue? You know, but it is what it is. You know, some people, because there's a lot of Wilder. This is the first time I ever seen a lot of Wilder fans pissed off at him. And it's not because he lost the fight. It's because of everything he said after. You know, Wilder losing the fight, it is what it is. It was an excited fight. We had fun, and that was that. But everything that came out after was the issue. And a lot of Wilder fans are not feeling that. You know, and then it's not just UK people. I know there's a lot of people from the UK, a lot of Joshua Fury fans that were talking their shit. No, there are a lot of Wilder fans, black fans as well, that are disappointed with Deontay Wilder because of what he's reporting, you know, what he's saying, you know, and they have a right to be unhappy about that. You know, this is not the way you go out as a champion, as a king. That's not the way you go out. You don't go out like that. But he'll be all right. He'll be all right. You know, if he wants to continue his career, he'll be fine, man. He'll be fine, man. You know, he'll be fine. And if he's not, let's say he takes the third fight with let's say he takes a third fight, right, and loses again. Even he gets beat up even more, he's probably going to make even more money in the third fight. He'll be just fine. Even if he retires after that. You know what? That's his legacy. He had the belt. He made a certain amount of title defenses. He made millions. And he's going to go on with his life. Or he can stay. He can stay and continue fighting. He can either mix it up with some of the people that we've wanted to see him face now, or he could go back to fighting some bums. He could do whatever he wants. But regardless, he'll be fine. There's nothing to worry about. He made it out that ring alive at the end of the day. And that's that. It's nothing to be feeling sorry for. He'll be fine, man. His family is good. He's living good. Goodfella loves Wilder and he didn't co-sign his statements. Yeah, like look, that's a boxing channel that, if he's a big supporter of Wilder, so if he's not co-signing it, I don't understand why some people are still co-signing it. Some, very few left some nasty comments, and they always start with "use a hater," like shit like that. I don't even respond to people like that anymore. I don't even block them. I just let them say what they want. I think it's funny sometimes when certain people can leave comments like that. I sit back and laugh. It is what it is. All right, but yeah, Wilder will be all right. Do I have a podcast? No, I don't have an official podcast yet. Okay. Last couple months, I took a break from YouTube. Didn't put out much content since the holidays. But I do have a Patreon. I just got to start it up. It's not easy for me to do the videos, man. It takes a lot of me. I do a lot of things outside of the boxing channel. So I would like to do the Patreon thing. That's definitely coming. But I'm giving you what I have for now. This is what I have for now. But expect, some sort of podcast is going to be coming soon. Thanks for asking. Okay, why are Wilder's legs so skinny? I don't know. It's top heavy. That's all. Skinny legs. A lot of dudes got skinny legs. It is what it is. I think Wilder will be better in the third fight, but I still think Fury beats him again. Yeah, I agree. I think Wilder's going to be better, but I still think he's going to lose. But I think Wilder's going to be better. And you still can't sleep on him. You never know. I think Fury's going to win, but you never know with Wilder. You still never know. He's still dangerous. He still punches. He can improve in certain areas. I don't think he's going to improve much, but he can improve in a few areas, starting with not wearing heavy costumes, but nah, he can definitely improve in certain areas and make it a better fight than he did in the first fight, and possibly even, if he loses it, it could be by a decision. You never know. Does Wilder go into a third fight like Roy Jones did and after Tarver lose? I don't know, because it really depends mentally. Roy Jones' situation was totally different. Roy Jones should have retired after he went to heavyweight. Getting to a certain stage of your career, going up, gaining weight, trying to drop it back down was just a big mistake at the time. Tarver was on Tarver was on fire at that time. Just a poor choice, and Roy Jones got knocked out. It is what it is. A different circumstance. Whereas here, it's all about Wilder mentally. Mental. Like, is he gonna recover up here? And if he is okay, he should work on a few things leading up to a rematch. He knows exactly what Fury is going to do now. So he knows exactly what Fury is capable of. So he should work on trying to improve for the third fight. All right. Some YouTube channels are delusional about Wilder. Yeah, the thing with me is there are some Wilder channels that I like. There are some very pro Wilder channels. I'm a big Black Fight fan. Trill Boxing Talk fan. That's my guy. I love his channel. Every once in a while, I still listen to 78. Every once in a while, I still listen to Dante Boxing Nation. Whenever he's talking, I listen to his video every once in a while. But there's a few channels out there, but there are some channels out there, and I will never say them. You guys ask me about other channels all the time. I will never say their names, but there are some of the worst channels I've ever seen out there. I won't say this. I won't diss them because I'm just not that kind of guy, even though some of them have dissed me. Some of them have some of the worst channels I've ever heard. But it is what it is. I just won't listen, because I already know what they're coming with. If I don't like their content, I don't really see a point of listening to what they have to say. That's just not me. If I know you're trash, I'm not going to listen to your video just to confirm that I think you're trash. I already know what you're going to say. because I already know how you think, how your brain works. So there's a lot of really bad YouTube channels out there, unfortunately, and some of them have a lot of subscribers. Some of them have a following, and it is what it is. That's none of my business. I just got to do what I do. That's it. That's it. Don't get mixed in with that crowd on either side. They are trolling drama more than they like boxing. Yeah, obviously. I don't get mixed up in that. I do my own thing. I do my own thing over here. That's it. Wilder's real skinny. He's just tall. He doesn't have a boxer's build. He doesn't, but he also knocked out 40 people, had whatever amount of 10 title defenses. He's broken records. So it's worked for him. In this era, it's definitely worked for him. Wilder should take a tune-up fight before the rematch. No, because then he would void his contract. So I think he has to go right into an immediate fight. I believe he does, unless they re-agree on something else. But I think he has to. I think if he were to do that, then Tyson Fury wouldn't be obligated in fighting him again. All right, because we got to remember that we've seen 2 fights now. I think people forget. People feel like the 3rd fight is a rematch when actually the 2nd fight is the rematch. We already got 2 fights already. All right. Even though one was a draw. All right. These guys agreed upon a 2-fight deal, but originally they agreed on there was a rematch clause in the 1st fight. All right. While they're in basketball, I saw him playing a video, and I could have picked that up instead for sure. Yeah, I seen a video of him playing basketball, I think, before too. I think I seen if he was playing with Tony Harrison before. I seen that video. Yeah. Be a fan of boxing and respect all who step into the ring. Fanboyism is killing boxing. Yeah, absolutely. I say fanboyism and just bringing race relation into every single fight that doesn't involve 2 black fighters or 2, whatever. Because this, in my history, in my time of being on YouTube, I felt that a lot of race-related stuff didn't need to be in part of certain fights. Tyson Fury is just not, yes, he's white, but there's nothing about Tyson Fury that involved race in anything. So I didn't understand why it was brought up, and that bothered me. But there are a lot of YouTube channels. I've been here a long time. There's a lot of black channels that are addressing race a lot because there were a lot of non-black channels that used to address race all of the time. All right. I'm telling you, I've been on YouTube for a while, and even before my time, there were a lot of channels that were totally anti-black fighters. So this is why a lot of it is mixed up, Again, I think I saw when it started to get really bad, and I made a video about it years ago, and it's only gotten worse since then, Sometimes it's just really all about the fight, 2 guys fighting. Sometimes it could involve some racial tension, but listen, I don't really want to talk about this, but people are allowed to like whoever they like for whatever reason you like them. You are allowed, you have that right to like whoever you like. People shouldn't be getting upset behind the reasons on why people like a certain fighter. I'm black. If I see 2 guys that are fighting each other, and I don't know, if I don't know who either fighter is, I'm probably going to, in my head, I'm rooting for the black dude because he looks like me, And if you're white and he's fighting a white guy, you probably going to want to go with the white guy in your head. But as the fight goes, and I see that the white guy is beating up, it's extremely more talented than the black guy, I'm not going to sit here and be defending the black guy if he's trash. No, I'm going to say, that white kid, or I'm not going to say that white kid, that guy there, he's good. He winning, he's kicking this dude's ass. And that's it. You're allowed to have, it's like with politics. There are a lot of people that voted for Obama because he's black. I know I certainly did, especially in the first, the first run. I voted for Obama because he was black. I love his speeches. I love to listen to him, man. I mean, he made me feel good, and I voted for him. Even though I wasn't following his policies and everything like that, I voted for him because he's black, and I have that right to do that. I'm sure there's plenty of white people that voted against McCain because he's white. It doesn't even make you a racist. It just makes you voting for whoever you want to vote for. I think a lot of people are looking. I think it's two things. I think when you're not black, I think a lot of people get uncomfortable when you're black and you're pro-black and you put it out there like I'm pro-black and I'm going with the black guy and the white guy. If you're white, you're looking at it as, yo, why you gotta be like that? I'm like, no, it's nothing wrong with that. He allowed to go with whoever he wants to go with. Now, if you're white and you say I'm going for the white guy, the black guy might get mad. Well, that's his business if he gets mad. That's him. You don't need to. I don't care if you're white and you pick a white fighter. But if you're trashing black fighters, then we have an issue. You guys get what I'm saying? It's just, that's how I look at it. It's that simple. Like, I'm not thinking about what white people are doing. And I think a lot of some of the pro-black YouTube channels, they have too much of an issue with white people. Just like I don't want to say white channels, but the non-black channels that have issues with black channels, they are too focused on what black channels are doing or saying. Like, yo, chill out. It doesn't even need to be like that, because I've picked the non-black fighter to beat the black fighter a whole lot of times. And I got called a coon for it. It's crazy, but that's people there, and they own mental issues, man. It has nothing to do with me. I think people are free to do whatever the hell they want to do. As long as you're not disrespecting any particular group of people, I don't have a problem with it. As long as you're not, take it easy. Take it easy. That's it. Everybody should be happy. There are some racial issues that goes on in life, in the sport as well, but not everything is racism, or not everything is race related. When a black guy fights a white guy and they're both stars, it doesn't need to be about race. It doesn't need to be. Even if the black guy gets booed, okay, well, he gets booed. Deontay Wilder got booed this weekend by a British guy. A British guy that's fighting in Las Vegas. So what? So what? I don't get why that's an issue. Well, because Wilder is American. Okay, well, so what? You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? There are probably more Tyson Fury supporters in the building. And I know that is the case because I was there when Joshua fought here last April or May or whatever. I was in Madison Square Garden and I saw nothing but British people. It is what it is. They support their fighters. I don't think it's that serious to me, to be honest with you. I'm not really concerned about who's cheering for who. Like, I don't give a damn. I'm not looking for validation from any other kind of people. You don't need that. Some people do need it. Some people want other people to like them so they can feel more comfortable with themselves. I don't need that. I don't need that kind of validation, And just because you don't go or pick the black guy doesn't mean you're a racist, or, all that stuff is silly. I don't need that stuff. Anyway, I went too long on that. I know you guys are leaving a bunch of comments. I'm not going to be able to catch up to all of these, but Yeah, you like who you like. Yeah, you right, Steven. You like who you like. You like who you like. I said this when Lomachenko and Rigo was fighting a couple years ago. You know, I said they was trying to, make it that a whole race thing. It was a whole race thing on here. So was Povetkin and Wilder. That was a whole race thing. There's been several fights where it turned into a whole race war on YouTube. It's unfortunate that that happens, but it's unfortunate, man. I said Lomachenko was going to whoop Rigondeaux's ass, and I like Rigondeaux, and he did, but people called me out for picking against Rigo. But they called me out for picking against Wilder when he fought Ortiz too. Like, I don't have time to be worried about. You know what it is? I don't have time. I don't have time for that. All right, guys, listen, I'm not going to stay on too late, man. I got to get my day going, man. It was good chatting with you guys. I'm going to try to move on from the heavyweights, though, or at least for Wilder and Fury for the rest of the week. Unless something major comes up, I'll talk about it. But I want to get back. I want to get into this this weekend's fights. We got a pretty decent card coming up on Dazn this weekend. All right, with Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas. I know a lot of people don't really care about the fight, and I know a lot of people are still buzzing over Fury and Wilder, but I actually like this fight, and I think it's a good card. You got Chocolatito fighting for a title this weekend too, so should be a good card on the zone. All right, so let me get out of here, guys. Take care. Peace.